All right, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and Moogles of all ages in the chat? My name is TheSchwantz27. I am joined tonight by Goku Black, making his return to the commentating booth. What's going on, Goku?
I am doing great. Yeah, back here with some commentary. This Saturday on Worlds Collide. How is everyone doing? We have some pretty good runners. And season 4 of Ultros League, everyone. So it's really it's that time.
Yeah, as you can see in the infographic, Season 4 starts today, June 10th. Registration, however, is still open because how Ultros League works is we run weekly races, so you could run your particular seed at any point during the week. So technically, you could still register right now, even though Ultros League has started, get placed into the tonic division if you're new to the community, or get replaced into whatever division you were supposed to be in from last season, and you could start running your seeds immediately. So ultrasleague.com for more information. Goku, let's check out some of the standings at ultrasleague.com. We'll talk about some of our runners here. Unfortunately, I thought I had this pulled up, and of course it's not pulled up. This is what happens when you... there we go. I didn't actually pull it up. I minimized it.
That's what happens,
Yeah, so anyway, let's talk about Ultros League this season because it has expanded to 82 different runners in Ultros League, which means Mega Elixir had to be expanded to 12 different runners in order to accommodate that. One of the runners this evening, Javinator, who will be featured on Restream, is in the Mega Elixir division. As we head on over to the Elixir division, there are 3 of them now, up from 2 last season. And you can see all the different participants in the division. Ultrasleague.com is where you find it. Just a special note. Hey, look, that's me, Ultros League Elixir B. Oh, look, that's also our tracker tonight, Ceiling Cat. We are both in the same division, so Ceiling Cat, I hope you don't win, but I also hope you don't lose, because I do want to win the division. Anyway, moving onwards to Elixir C. That's what Elixir C looks like. Some heavy hitters in that, including Jackamus, Jexfarok, Drulith, all great runners from our community there. That's a pretty stacked Elixir division. On to Potion, and we have 2 runners in tonight's race from Potion C. One runner. We have JS there. He will be featured on stream. And also in one of the other potions, let me see if I could find it. Yep, there it is. Potion D is another one of our runners. That is Saberwolf there. He will also be featured. And then moving on to the tonic division. So, I'm sorry, backtracking to Potion. There used to be 3 Potion divisions. Now there are 4. On to tonic. There used to be 5 in last season. There are 5 again this season. 5 tonic divisions, rather. And another one of our runners is in one of the tonic divisions. Where are they? Drinks Glue. There they are. Tonic D division. And I believe you're in here as well somewhere, Goku. Where are you? Or are you in Potion?
No, I just signed up.
Okay, well, you will get placed in whatever division you're supposed to be in from last season. So,
Yeah,
yay for just signing up. That's the best thing that you could do, right? So,
Yep.
Anyway, we're gonna get it on tonight with our racers here. And we've got in the upper left-hand corner, in the slate gray, that is Javinator. In the upper right-hand corner, where did they go? Oh no. Did I lose one of my runners? I must have lost one of my runners. Help! Send help!
Upper right, I think kinda...
Upper right is supposed to be Drinks Glue.
We have a little technicality?
Yeah, so I'm going to go try and punch them in as we get Locke with Capture and Natural Magic, Celeste with Throw and Natural Magic, and we also have Edgar here. So why don't you kick us off here as I figure out what the heck is happening with my stream.
So we are So the good start is, so we've got some people going through Locke's route. Locke's route is the World of Ruin Narsh to Phoenix Cave. That gives us a lot of early loot as well as some checks. Some people, go into Narsh, do the Edgar route. Edgar route also gives us Celestis check, a very, very good route as well. We are seeing some diversions though. Saberwolf and Javinator going down the same path. Whereas JS is going through that lock route. Typically, the Edgar route is just getting all the money that you need to get to the World of Ruin, South Figaro, purchase all the goodies that are there. So just getting all the money up to that point is typically what you do.
Yeah, so it looks like I've got Drink's glue, but he's still on the the main racer page. So let me punch him in real fast. However, I'm trying to make sure that he knows that we're actually racing tonight. Oop, that was, of course, the wrong screen. I'm having a heck of a time there. That's the right person. Let's see. Where is Drink's Glue's window? Here it is.
That's not it.
There it is. Yeah, so he's at the main screen still. So I hope he didn't fall over and drink glue and just not have anything happen there. Anyway, while all of that nonsense was going on, we did have some people check the World of Ruin Narsh weapon shop, which is one of Locke's checks here. You see it on JS's screen, and he's going to pick up the stone Ifrit.
That's a reset right there. That's Presenter. That is something we don't want to fight. Presenter is nasty.
Yeah, only rewards a Dragon Claw, which is a claw. That's about the best thing I could say about that.
Dragon Claw, be it one of the best claws in the game, not really super useful. I mean, I guess it's like a stat stick, maybe? But that's about all it gets.
Yeah,
we are seeing World of Ruin South Figaro here on TS's side, so that's a positive. Not too much in the rolling shot.
Yeah, so World of Ruin South Figaro, I think, is a great play, especially with Edgar. Edgar at the front of the party in World of Ruin South Figaro allows you to get half off of the price of shops, which is really nice in South Figaro, so we could probably see some very cheap things. Did I just see an experience egg on Javinator's screen somewhere? No, that was not. That was a Bolt Edge. So definitely picking up some throwables, because, again, we have a throw character. Yes.
Drink's blue screen is bad again.
Yes, he said that he is trying to come back, so we will get him back as soon as he's back. In the meantime, we did see Cyan on the wrong throne. He's on the Figaro throne and not the Doma throne.
But yeah, that is so. Why not explain? We're back.
Yeah, we should be back.
We're back. Hello. We're back, and hopefully not doing too bad.
Yes. All right. We are back. So what we have seen is now we have a Gao at Gao Manor, appropriately enough, and JS picked up Shadow from somewhere. I'm guessing that is in the South Figaro basement. Drinks Glue, his stream is sort of like popping in and out, so what I might do is I might swap him out for someone else in the meantime. So just give me a second while I do that. So we got Shadow in the South Figaro basement where Celeste's check was, and we have Gao at Gao Manor. So we've got a ton of different characters very early on in this Seed Goku.
Yeah, just gonna point out, floating continent is an option. Floating continent. It's cheeky and spicy, but it's there.
Yeah, the only problem with Floating Continent is if we can't beat the boss at the end of Floating Continent, we're going to be in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. So I think if our runners, what they will do is if they go to Floating Continent, they might want to get some levels first before they head up there. So we'll try and see what other types of plays they make. So I just punched in Nobody War, and I'm going to go check their tracker to see what their party looks like here as I make it impossible on our tracker, Ceiling Cat. I apologize to you for doing you dirty like this. So let's see. He's got 4 characters, so he has Celeste, Shadow, Edgar, Locke, and he's got 1 Esper. So that's what Nobody War is working with. Let's see if we could change that on his side. 1 Esper, and he's got Shadow. Perfect. Alright, everybody else I think is okay. Let me go and do some more stream checks. While our runners continue to loot and shop around the world here. Saberwolf in World of Ruin, South Figaro. JS is in Jador. So one of the changes that we did make to Ultros League Season 4, and I forgot to mention this, Goku, when you asked, because I completely forgot about it until now, and this is what happens sometimes, is we actually changed it so the auction house can have a maximum of 1 Esper in the auction house. So you will no longer get a 2 Esper auction house type of situation. So it makes the auction house play a little bit worse. It's a slight nerf to auction house, and then by extension also a slight nerf to Realm, right? Because one of Realm's checks is Jador, and by taking an Esper out of the auction house, you're essentially giving her 1 less thing to work with here. So we haven't seen him check the auction house yet to see if there is anything in there. So the guy at the door will tell you if there are glowing stones. Turdsman makes a comment in the chat, which I sort of agree with as well. It pulls a dead check from somewhere else, which certainly does help. Dead checks are the bane of everybody's existence, so we never want to see those.
I'm having a hard time too. Are we actually uncursing the shield?
Yeah, I did not see what the curse shield count was.
13.
13? Okay. So, yeah, 13 is not great, but it's also not terrible either, right? So, it's understandable that you want to do a 13 battle curse shield, especially with some of the characters that we have here, right? So we have Celeste, and one of Celeste's checks, as JS is conveniently heading towards it right now as I'm talking about it, is the Opera House Disruption. There are 5 rats up in the rafters that you can go fight. Most of the time I fight 3 because you do have to dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge out of the way of them. Nobody War here deciding to take off the Mughal and doing some grinding outside of the Narsh hut, which seems to make sense because he did rack up some free progression early with an additional character and an additional Esper here. Meanwhile, both Saberwolf and Javinator are still looting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I was gonna say is that actually, JS doesn't have the curse shield anymore. They sold it. So, they're just going without it.
Yeah, that's also an option too. 13 battles is a lot for the Curse Shield. It's a bit more than we would expect. It looks like we've also got Gao with Blitz and Health, so that is one of our other characters that we've picked up along the way. I didn't actually see what was on Shadow, though. Nobody War has Shadow in his party, and this is an undead enemy, so some good vanilla game knowledge here from Nobody War, just throwing a Revivify at it, and it goes away. So very nicely done from him there.
Just as a reference, Celeste is a really good thrower because most of the time you're going to be throwing skins if you're going to be fighting these fixed encounters, and she's a fantastic. She's like one of the best magic stats in the game. So really great thrower.
Yeah, that's a great point because your throws are based on both your strength for most items, but then there are also the items that you can that you could throw that are elemental skeins, right? Those are those bolt edges, those fire skeins that you pick up, and with really high magic power, that means that those skeins will be doing a heck of a lot of damage. So that's why you see Nobody War just plowing through enemies here with those fire skeins. On that Ifrit Esper that we did obtain from the Narsh Weapons Shop, it looks like we've got X-Zone and Cure 2 on it, so it's got some halfway decent spells. Unfortunately, nothing to cure this poison that JS has been inflicted with. We don't know Mantra yet, so the Blitz Mantra would actually cure poison. Or if we had slots, the Lagomorph would go ahead and do that for us. But I don't think we have access to either of those things. So unfortunately, JS's Edgar is going to be in a whole heck of a lot of trouble here. It looks like he did have one antidote in order to clean that up, and he's going to have to heal him now. Javinator finding the snail in the box, and he's running away.
I mean, would you?
Yes, of course.
I mean, they're just cosplaying as like, well, they're not really well. They're not really well. They're just cosplaying. They're having fun.
At least with Welk, you could potentially get a reward. with Presenter, you don't. And speaking of Welk, there you go. You called it.
Hey! You know what? I have this knack of doing that. That's perfectly fine.
Oh no! And take a look at what's at the Opera House.
Get those spiced chickens into the chat.
Ooh, it is dinner time, Moogles. So you know what that means. It's time for some spicy chicken. And unfortunately, those fire skeins that Celeste was using to great intent in some of those grind encounters, they are not going to work here in this fight. So this is going to take a very long time for Nobody War, unless he has something else up his sleeve. He looks like he's got a Thunder Rod in the inventory as well.
I imagine that they're going to do it with one of the characters. Checking to see what they got first, I guess.
Yeah. The worst part is even Ifrit, the Esper, that won't work on this fight either. So, and it looks like...
that's a reset.
Yeah.
That's a
so,
reset.
At least Nobody War knows what is there, and he could always come back later. And why is Drinks Glue on my screen now? What is happening tonight?
I don't... You're the restreamer, you tell me.
Did Nobody War's stream go down? I'm going to go check on those beepity bops. Meanwhile, JS did get past his snail, so we'll see exactly what he gets out of the Opera House disruption here.
Everyone who just came in with the raid, we're having trouble here.
Yeah, so it looks like Nobody War's stream went down. That is Drink Glue's stream, but his stream is lagging all over the place. So this is just a conundrum of greatness here. I swear I've done this before.
Yeah, happy Ultros League 4!
Alright, we'll see if we can get Nobody War back in just a second here. Otherwise, I'm going to punch somebody else in and then go look at their stream for what their tracking information says.
So Zen Thief... World of Balance is 64,000. And not even an Esper.
Alright, well, Zen Thief is dead. Meanwhile, the play that you had mentioned, Javinator is making it up to the floating continent here.
Unfortunately, those things don't give experience. Unfortunately, those rabbit guys, they don't give experience. So we're gonna fight the boss level 8. Yeah. Is this even randomized? Is this even randomized?
Oh, it's Ultros 4, so we're not going to get any XP for this fight, which is kind of rough.
It's the weaker.
Yeah, I do like the play of Javinator going up to Floating Continent, having access to throw and some of these other commands. It looks like Cyan had drill, or tools rather, so it looks like he's got drill.
Flash. Flash is actually pretty good. Man, Floating Continent is a whole rip-off on experience. The next boss at least give experience, please.
Yeah, you get experience from the fights, and Tritalk won't be a problem with access to things like drill and fire skeins, right? Because Tritalk can only be damaged by fire sources. I'm going to try and punch in one of our other runners, because we do have a bunch of different people in the background running this. So I'm going to try and get some of our other runners on the screen here. So let's see. I think we're going to punch in Falcon Hit. Let's see if I could do that here. Goku, why don't you take the wheel for me for a second?
All right. Let's see here. We are GS's side. We're doing the Floating Continent too, so they're going to get that line of no experience as well. Meanwhile, Javinator going and finishing the boss, the second boss of the Floating Continent. Looks like it's going to be an Esper this time, which is good. The second, I believe it's the second, the first reward is always guaranteed to be a character Esper.
Yep.
So you know you're always going to get at least one.
Ooh. And in this case, it's Shiva teaching Bolt 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah, amazing. Saberwolf going to fight their Welk. It's our monster in the box.
Yeah, so one of the other changes with the brand new 1.3 version of Worlds Collide is the grand finale music now plays during the boss at the Opera House. So it's pretty cool to show that off here with Saberwolf as we hear that delicious, sweet, sweet grand finale music instead of the normal boss music there. So that's really nice.
Yeah, be honest, I haven't played a Worlds Collide seed in the new version yet. So it's gonna be fun for when I do it. But as a reminder, Ultros League Season 4 is still open to register. That's the cool thing about this. You can still register.
Yeah, so even though the league starts today, right, we do have a situation where it is every week, right, is running one race. So what you can do is you can run, or rather you can start your run even after the week has started. So even though the league has started, you could still technically sign up, which is intriguing. So it looks like somebody has lore, because I just saw a Grand Train on JS's screen there. Meanwhile, we're going to punch in Falcon Hit here, who, looking at the tracker, yes, has 8 characters already. So Mog was somewhere, Gogo was somewhere. He's got Cyan. And who else has he got?
Yeah, Yeah, the rest of the other people are not nearly as good
1,
at
2,
this.
3, 4, 5, 6, and then Gal.
Who else?
Oh my god, that was a 9th character at the end of the Serpent Trench, by the way.
We have KT Skip on Falcon Hit side.
Yeah, he has 9 characters already.
This is not normal behavior.
No, so definitely a seed that giveth a lot of characters. So very interesting to have that show up.
Not a normal runner. You know, this is all Falcon Hit's one of the best runners. So.
Yep, as we mentioned, one of our Mega Elixir contenders, as Shiva is the pickup there for JS 8/27/1986. Javinator, I believe, picked up another piece of Magicite there on Floating Continent number 2. And there is Cyan, heir to the Figaro throne, since Doma got poisoned for Saberwolf. So, if I had to guess, Goku, I would have to guess that Gogo was probably... Oh, no. Mog, maybe, was at the Velt. Gogo was at Lone... I don't know. There's a whole string of events that could have happened for Falcon Hit. Let's see what checks he did. So he did both of Gao's checks. Doma Siege is another one he did. So that must have been either Mog or Gogo. And, yeah, he hasn't done he's done 7 checks and has gotten 9 characters in 1 Esper. So he unfortunately picked all the checks with all the Espers there. So both of Gao's checks rewarding characters. We did see Sabin at the end of the Serpent Trench, and it's either Mog or Gogo at the Velt. And then the other check is Doma Siege, so that would be either Mog or Gogo at Doma Siege. So that's how Falcon Hit ranked up so many characters so very quickly here.
Yeah, definitely something. Yeah, there's Gao at Shadow. We already knew
Gao at Gao Manor. So another music change you could hear is that now when you recruit a character, they will play their music instead of the default world music. So this is Gao's theme that we play at Gao Manor when recruiting Gao. So that's pretty cool. And Saberwolf immediately turns around to go on the Velt. I don't think he meant to do this, but this is definitely something he could have done. However, with 4 characters, he can't get the reward here, so Smoke Bomb makes sense. Looks like Edgar is the one with lore, with Grand Train.
Not on the Velt. Just apparently, didn't have the Moogle charm on, and he's in the manor, and stepped outside to get on the airship. You know how that goes.
Yeah, so Falcon Hit picking up a Minerva in South Figaro Cave, which certainly helps in this fight against the Spicy Chicken. It looks like he's going to try and capture himself a red jacket from the Spicy Chicken. That's one of the steals, and it's a 3rd Esper Crusader there at the end of the Floating Continent from number 128. So Javinator going 3 for 3 on the Floating Continent in terms of Espers, which is really great in this seed where we are inundated with characters, Goku.
Oh yeah, so okay, so I'm seeing a point where people are also going in, like Javinator's probably going to go into MedSec Factory. Do they do number 3? Do they do the 3rd one? That's the question.
Yeah, so that is an interesting point as JS picks up his 2nd Esper there on Floating Continent from that second fight there against Niles and Frazier the Cranes. It is Tritalk after Spicy Chicken for Falcon Hit at South Figaro Cave, so that is his 2nd Esper. And at this point, if you're Falcon Hit, you're looking for Esper checks or peekable checks the whole time. Little does he know that you can go 3 for 3 up on the Floating Continent, right? And
so
I'm sorry.
If you were Javinator and you're going in through this, are you doing Match Tech 3? You have 5 characters.
Oh no, Saberwolf killed Gogo. Not looking to get Gogo, so F's for Gogo in the chat. We're gonna have to ask him about that later. But yeah, you're asking me if I'm Javinator, do I go through all the way to the end of Magitech facility? Well, taking a look at the characters that he has, right? He doesn't know that there are characters upon characters upon characters here. I personally usually save Magitech until the very end because I know I can get 2 Espers out of it. But for him, the third part of the Magitech factory is a guaranteed progression. It's either a character or an Esper. So he might think to go do it, and it might make sense for him. It also helps to level up your party a lot, right? Because you're going to get those 3 forced encounters and those 2 bosses on the back end of the Magitech factory. However, already being done with Floating Continent, we already have a ton of levels there. So yeah, it's a good question, Goku. I'm not sure what the right answer is. What about you? What do you do in his situation?
So you don't. Okay. So you don't know. You haven't done a whole lot of checks though. So that's still open too.
Right. Because we have Cyan's Dream that we haven't seen yet, right?
Yeah. So the right answer is on both sides, right? It's just your personal preference. But for me, 5 characters, I would risk it. I would take that little bit of time because if it's another character, then we are closer to either getting to skip or go mode. If it's an Esper, then you're on your way to getting the unlock objective done anyway. So it's a win-win on both sides, honestly, and I think it's worth time put into it because of the progression stuff.
Yeah, guaranteed progression, and you get a bunch more levels. JS was able to easily dispatch the last boss. Access to Bolt 3 from that Esper earlier, so he's going to pick up his 3rd Esper in a row there, Crusader on the Floating Continent. Saberwolf just entering the Floating Continent now, and it looks like our top half of the screen runners, they are in the Magitech factory, so they're doing that. Unfortunately, the first check of the Magitech factory looks like it was a dead check, so nothing for Javinator there.
We haven't seen Doomgaze yet.
Listen, I am not going to start calling out bosses, okay? The commentator curse for me is very real, and it's something that I don't think our runners would like me to do very much. So, according to our wonderful tracker Ceiling Cat, who is somehow putting up with me plugging and playing different runners into the stream at the same time, it was a red cap there at Magitech 1, and oh no, look at what is that, Magitech 2.
I didn't say anything, so don't blame me. It is it's our good friend Magic Master.
We could sort of half blame you, can't we? This is Doomgaze adjacent.
I mean, it's not totally Doomgaze, but
yeah. So we'll see how Javinator decides to get through this. So with Magimaster, of course, he nullifies 6 elements, is weak to 1, and absorbs the other. However, with our party composition, it looks like we've got Lore, Edgar using Grand Train, which is non-elemental defense ignoring damage. We do have we have somebody with a drill, I believe. Multi-kill!
That was pain, that's what that was.
That was suffering.
That was pain beyond pain.
Yeah, let's see if Javinator decides to stick around. He is going to nope out of here. So he could always come back later for that Magimaster if you really want to. As I was mentioning, so we do have Throw, which does allow us to penetrate the high physical defense of Magimaster. Falcon Hit has Gao, who has Blitz, and Pummel ignores defense, so that's another way that we can go ahead and take care of Falcon Hit. Take care of Magimaster, rather. And I know that Cyan, I believe, is the one with tools, so we have access to Drill, which also ignores defense. So that's a couple of ways we can deal with Magimaster not having Berserk. JS is trying to deal with Spicy Chicken, and Spicy Chicken just told Gao, nope, sit down, kid. He does get through this fight, though, and that is going to be Tri-Talk for him. So, Javinator going into the fight as JS is coming out of the fight. Saberwolf getting their Esper here, the first of 3 that's on the floating continent. So they'll be out of the floating continent in a few minutes with 6 characters and 4 Espers. So Magimaster does go down for Falcon Hit, and it is the Seraphim Esper. Warlock didn't stand a chance. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
What I was just gonna say is that Poltergeist may seem like he's weak against ice, but he's actually weak against poison. So that is something you can take into account.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any bio spells. I didn't get quite a chance to see very many of them.
Locke just did bio.
Okay, so we do have access to some bio spells here. Oh, there it is. I see it. Oh, and Javinator has access to Stop. The problem is the character that got Stop blasted in the very beginning, and oh no, it's Siegfried on the minecart. Run away, Falcon Hit, run away.
You don't want to see it. Oh, that is...
So, pro tip for you out there, if you ever run into Siegfried, you could actually start running during the first half of this cutscene, and you'll run away before he actually starts that second half of the cutscene with the dialogue, haha, give up. So it's a way to short circuit out of this fight just a little bit earlier. However, Siegfried on the minecart is pretty terrible. That's one of the worst places you could run into him.
Yeah. Pretty bad.
Javinator getting his Tri-Talk Esper from the Spicy Chicken. And taking a look at our runners here, it looks like Jav and JS have figured out how to balance getting both Espers and characters in this very character-heavy seed. Meanwhile, our runners in the other corners, Falcon Hit and Saberwolf, have gone very heavy on the characters. Saberwolf even knocking Gogo to the floor on the Velt because he did not need another character at that point. Maybe he'll decide to circle back later when it's skip time.
But Falcon Hit does have a lead in characters, that's for sure. We are seeing Javinator go into the Dream, which is interesting. Good play, though.
Alright, Albrook is where JS is deciding to pick up some extra treasure. There's 5 chests in the world of Balance, with an extra one down in the dock in the world of Ruin, and Javinator heading into his 3rd 3-part check of the seed. Wasn't able to get past Magimaster in the Magitech factory, however, he's going to see what's in Cyan's Dream. The 1st and 3rd checks of Cyan's Dream can only be Esper item, so I like this play from him here. Potentially getting some more Espers. And using that vanilla game knowledge to go capture some elemental shields from Inferno. So all 3 of Inferno's parts will give you an elemental shield. So really nice heads up play from him there.
We are seeing a little bit of zombie go out on Saberwolf's side. In a deadlock. Or Celeste, rather.
Ugh.
Dead characters and zombie characters, that's never a good sign.
No, never at all. So the minecart, the first boss, in case you missed it, was Ultros 2. I sort of did miss it. I'm looking at the spreadsheet that our wonderful tracker Ceiling Cat has put together for us to figure it out. And we are going to be rewarded with the Phoenix Esper on the way out of the Magitech factory here. So it looks like the 3-part checks, Goku, are where you're going to find all your shiny stones here tonight.
Yeah. Sure.
Alright, last boss for Saberwolf is sort of the stripped down version of the boss at the top from Javinator, who gets past it. Falcon Hit making it through the end of the Magitech factory, so he'll have access to that Phoenix Esper as well, which is really nice safety, especially in the final fight, where you could pick characters back up after, let's say, a Meteo knocks multiple of them out. Unfortunate Genji armor in the first of Cyan's Dream, and that's a Yeti on the ground in Velt Cave. Jeez.
And a realm in the dream.
Oh my gosh. So the only characters we don't know where they are Setzer, Strago, and Terra, right? I think we know where 11 out of the 14 of them are.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Realm over in the dream. Wow.
And it looks like Falcon Hit, after the Magitech factory, is heading over to Mount Zozo, which is where he can optionally fight a dragon, so we'll see if he decides to take that on. Last Esper there for Saberwolf, going 3 for 3 on the floating continent. Very nice for him. And
yes,
it is...
we're fighting Goddess.
Ugh. Down goes Gao again.
Goddess over on JS's screen. That's not cool.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, as Gao hasn't been able to stay up in some of JS's fights, so he might be a little bit under-leveled, and having him stay down is not going to help. Looks like we did find a pair of Dragoon boots for Edgar, though, and with that Aura Lance we got off of Spicy Chicken, that's a really nice build for him there.
We have a Fire Rod. We'll see if we do use it or not. We're heading in the dream on Saber's side, right?
Yeah, Saberwolf heading into Cyan's Dream, picking out a Genji glove from the clock, so that might be really useful later on for some offensive builds. And Falcon Hit looks like they are going to take this optional dragon. It is the Skull Durgan here.
Dragon's not too bad. Reverse. Dragon's not too bad. Weak against fire and Pearl. Not very durable either. I mean, it has some nasty attacks, but
yeah, it could potentially be a problem if he casts Spectre, which can confuse one of your characters, and if one of those characters just starts killing your party, then we're in big trouble there.
But him himself, not a problem.
All right, JS picking up his Yeti there at the end of the
We can't
Velt Cave.
the strain. Boo.
We do have access to Blitz, but Javinator does not have Gao. And uh-oh, is that a self-X zone?
Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Oh,
Aegis Shield from the Dragon, and Setzer from
we
Mount
know where Setzer
Zozo.
is. We know where Setzer is.
Oh my goodness. So we're missing Terra and Strago. Otherwise, we can get the whole gang here.
This is pain. This is pain.
Yeah, so a bit of a recovery period here from Javinator's Evil Toot strikes again. Don't count the Phantom Train out, folks.
Oh, yeah, that was horrible. And the thing is, he had queued up an X-Zone unlock when he got confused.
Yeah. So, in Worlds Collide, we have disabled the undead property for the undead bosses, so you can use X-Zone to kill them. However, you could also use X-Zone to kill your own party. You get muddled.
Yeah, not something you technically want.
No, definitely not at all.
But Saberwolf taking down Inferno. What did I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he reset out of there. Did he maybe reset the Setzer? Oh no, it was Tizen. So he reset out of Tizen. Was that another character at Tizen?
Probably.
I'm gonna be really upset that I missed it.
I'm sure our tracker got it though.
Alright, it's another Magicite Baduin on the Doma throne at the end of the dream. So that was a Genji armor, a Realm, and an Esper. Hefe in the chat says that was Strago. Old man holding up the house. All right, so the only character we have not seen is Terra. Do you think we're going to see Terra in the...
Obviously, I think so. I think we've seen every other character. Why not add another one? Right?
Yeah, why not? Smartly, Falcon Hit decides, I'm only doing peekable checks and checks that may be espers, and that is an esper from the Search the Skies spot, since he has access to Setzer. So he will probably continue to do those peekable checks, which include Daryl's Tomb, and it looks like he's going there now. Let's see who's hanging out at the Colingen Inn. Meanwhile, JS diving into Magitech Factory as Javinator does not have Sabin, so he's able to actually go into to Zen without activating the check. Ice Shield, the reward at the Colingen Inn there. So we do have some elemental shields between fighting Inferno and stealing them, and then as some rewards here. I know that one of our espers has Merton on it, so we'll see if any of our runners get the full Merton strats going.
I mean, you got it, right? I mean, this kind of thing, you have to have Merton, right?
Yeah, it definitely carried me through a few seeds here and there for sure.
You gotta go Merton, right? You have the protection, you got the power, you've got all the you got the other stuff too, the protection, the shields, the Merton spell. You gotta go for it.
Alright, so it looks like Javinator does insert Realm into the party here, so I wonder if it's just because Realm's magic power is naturally really good at 55, or if it's because she has a great ability. I didn't see what her ability was, but he has access to some pretty high quality spells, so that certainly makes sense.
I don't know. I didn't see. We'll see in a minute. Hopefully.
Oh, look at the lower right. Lower left, I mean.
Suplexing the train. We're suplexing the train just for you folks.
That's it. Saberwolf, even if he doesn't win tonight's race, he is tonight's winner, the true community people's champ there, giving us the train suplex we all need.
Yeah, I mean, the true champion.
Yep, so it doesn't... So, Goku, we could just stop the race now, right? It doesn't matter who actually beats Kefka first?
Yeah, whoever suplexes the train, that should be an objective. That should be like...
Ooh, natural jump on Realm. Interesting.
That should be like unlock Final Kefka, suplex train or something like that.
Well, funny enough, if you head on over to ff6worldscollide.com, which is our website, you could customize the seed so that you can require a train suplex in order to beat Final Kefka. So if you do have that as an objective, you will be guaranteed some Blitz user in your seed, and you could always fight the Phantom, or the Ghost Train rather, by going to the Phantom Train check after you've completed it, and if you go back on the train, you'll always get the Ghost Train boss fight. So just some interesting tidbits for you there. As Javinator looks like they are going to fight their dragon here. This is the Skull Dragon, dropping the Aegis Shield. JS getting his dead check at the first part of Magitech Factory, the red cap.
We're doing Merton strats. We're doing Merton strats. Let's go.
Yeah. So Merton is an AoE fire and wind attack, and basically what that means is it hits everything on the screen with fire and wind damage. So you have to find yourself a way to either absorb or nullify it. So you could use flame shields or ice shields for the fire part, or you could use a thunder shield for the wind part.
Yeah, just fun fact. Absorb goes over nullify, and nullify goes over regular damage, and weakness goes over regular damage. So it goes absorb, nullify, weakness, normal. Just as a reference.
All right, so Saberwolf now doing the Velt check. you could do the Velt check in either the World of Balance or the World of Ruin. He's deciding to do it in the World of Ruin in front of the Velt Cave, which is one of Shadow's checks. So I like this little 1-2 combo here. Magimaster on the screen for JS, so we'll see if he gets through this fight. Only one of our 2 runners who have attempted Magimaster have done it. Javinator getting the bad news that it is a Setzer at the end of Mount Zozo, although, Goku, with having all your requirement go mode already, I like picking up Setzer, because he has 3 pretty quick and easy checks. The Search the Sky spot can only be Esper item, the Colon Jinin is very quick and free, and Daryl's Tomb, you could actually peek what the inscription on the tomb is before you go and get it. So I think that a Setzer pickup when you need Espers is actually pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, Setzer's a pretty good one. You definitely have that quick, that easy colon check. The Search the Skies, which you can't actually do without Setzer. You just have to go find Doomgaze manually, which is, yeah, no. And the check with Darrow's Tomb. So Darrow's Tomb isn't very long either, so it's a good check.
Do the thing, Falcon Hit. Do the thing. Oh, he doesn't do the thing. he had Gao and did not suplex the train. Boo that man. Boo that man.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Falcon Hit.
He is going to unfortunately pick up his 11th character. Because he's stuck in Cyan's dream. JS does make it out alive of Magimaster, but just barely. He only had one of his characters survive. And it looks like Saberwolf is going to pick up the Yeti here in order to get his Kefka Tower skip. Javinator finally grabbing Gao from Gao Manor. Esper Madwin is on the Doma throne there, so that's Falcon Hit's 6th Esper. He's still looking for 3 more.
I mean, why not, right? Also, gonna do the World of Narsh, the Yeti stuff, so we're gonna see what that is. We haven't seen that yet. How much damage are we doing? Like, how much was that, Techstar?
I'm sorry, say that again?
How much was the Techstar doing?
Yeah, so Goddess is pretty weak to physical attacks, and Throw ignores physical defense anyway, but it also does a max damage amount from the back row. So Tackstar doing some pretty good work there.
Yeah.
Saberwolf looking to steal a Minerva off of Goddess, one of the best steals in the game in my opinion. And Falcon Hit is heading into Imperial Camp. So this is some new information for us here on the upper right-hand side. Saberwolf taking down Goddess. Javinator getting their skip with Gogo.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing.
So JS is actually up in the snowy mountains of Norsh here, so we'll see if we can figure out what's at Umaro's cave.
A point in the chat, she was also hitting... she was also in the opposite direction that Goddess was facing, so she did more damage.
Ah, that makes sense.
With that physical attack. Thank you, Hefe, in the chat for pointing that out.
Yes. Oh, you best have half of your team be frozen, JS. It is a vanilla ice dragon here at the top of Narsh. And thankfully for Falcon Hit, it is not Terra at Imperial Camp.
You gotta see. I gotta see her. Come on.
Yeah, so this is going to be one of those instances where if we don't see Terra, you know that after the stream I'm going to be downloading the seed to find out where the heck she was. Because we found everybody else. Ooh, this is not a fun fight here in Imperial Camp.
I doubt it's going to be too hard, though.
Alright, fixed dice there for JS as the reward off the dragon. He does not have Setzer, who could naturally equip them. But at this point...
There is a chance that someone else can use it.
Yeah, I wonder, though, at this point with his party composition, if that doesn't much matter there. So... Javinator grabbing his Esper out of the sky, so he is actually the closest to unlocking Kefka, believe it or not, with 7 Espers. And hey, look at who decided to come out of his cave. At the top of Narsh, it is our dabbing Yeti.
I mean, yeah, just decided to come out of their cave. Also, just a side note, you can keep if it's a character or not inside the Yeti cave by going to the World of Balanced Narsh, going right before you enter the caves, and if there's a person there, then that's the character. If not, then you know it's either an Esper or a dead check.
Yes, good point. We did not see them go up that far in World of Balanced Narsh. Falcon Hit did not get anything out of Imperial Camp in terms of progression. So he's jumping off a waterfall and it's Dataluma. Should be a relatively easy fight, but again, this is not a peekable check. It's a quick one, it's just not a peekable one, right? So we don't know what the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
We have Siren after the reward for the Yeti fight. It's okay. It's got bio and that stuff. But...
Life 2 is a great spell that's on it, but I think more importantly for our runners, right? We're always thinking about the end of the game. The final boss is always the same. It's always Kefka. It's always the 4 parts. And on the second part of the boss, there is a piece of the final boss that is susceptible to being muted and only casts magical spells. So having Siren is extremely important in that case. Another Esper summon there, Ifrit for the Skull Dragon. As you mentioned earlier, weak to fire in Pearl, so Inferno is the Esper summon for Ifrit. And that's a 2-shot or a 3-shot there.
I just say... So that's going to be 6-8 for JS.
Very nice.
Another Esper, wow.
Falcon Hit grabbing Ragnarok the Esper from Barren Falls, so he's now up to 7. And he's just continuing his around the world progression. Merton and Magic Power +2 on that one.
Yeah, is that strength? Was that strength +2?
Magic Power +2 on...
No, I'm saying on the other Esper. Other Esper that I saw a +2, I didn't see what it was.
Oh, I must have missed it. Saberwolf resetting out of Setzer does not want Setzer. Interesting call there. I understand where he's coming from. He's already got 9 characters. And there she is! We've seen her. That's Tara.
We know where she's at! Let's go! We've seen all the characters in the seed. There we go. I am very happy.
Well,
we have seen every single character.
This has turned into an oops all characters seed.
Dude, we gotta put this in the Discord. This is too good. We have to put this in the Discord.
Yeah, so if you would like to join our Discord, you get access to things like this particular seed and lots of other cool things that are going on with our community. Is that the command I wanted to do? No, it is definitely not.
Yeah, follow the Restream team, you know, my co-commentator, and the tracker, and the runners. Follow all of our runners. They are
they're not the same runners. they're not the same runners that I linked. Yeah, because I punched a few different ones in and out here. So Saberwolf and Javinator picking up a pair of Espers. JS wanted to get a quick Esper on the Figaro throne. Unfortunately, it was Cyan. Is
You're
this
going to see another... I think this is Phoenix Cave.
Yeah, so Saberwolf hopping into Phoenix Cave. We know that this is not a character, because we've seen all of the characters in this seed. So
But
we'll see if this is an Esper here in Phoenix Cave.
But we will see if it's a dead check or not. There we go. Yeah, just tried to put the Booga Charm on and failing like 5 different times. That's alright. Happens to the best of us.
Yep. Alright, so we've got skips from all of our runners except for JS here. Javinator resets out of Mog at the Doma Siege, so we figured that out from process of elimination, right? Since Gogo was at Velt, we knew that Mog had to be at Doma Siege, because that's one of the things we found out when Falcon Hit had joined from another dimension.
Get a word from, yeah, that.
And we're going to see, so some new information for us here at Saberwolf. Javinator is going to be angry and is going to walk out of Esper Mountain there. Falcon Hit will, however, be in go mode as soon as he's done with the top of World of Ruin Narsh, right? Because this is 2 Espers up here.
Unless they decide to nope out.
They're not going to nope out.
They might. It is a possibility.
That would be incredibly bad as a play. I was going to say something else, but it's a PG-13 stream here, folks. Meanwhile, Gogo for JS, so he's now 1 character away from his skip.
I mean, it would be cheeky.
Yep, cheeky is a word for it, sure. Javinator, meanwhile, is heading back to the scene of the crime. Oh no, he did beat Poltergeist. This is a Edgar play.
I told you he was gonna do it, and he did!
Alright, so this is actually World of Ruin South Figaro Cave, and he sees it's a soldier sprite, so he's gonna head down to the engine room, which is interesting, because we've had Edgar since the very beginning of the game, right? And nobody has done any of the Edgar loop checks, which goes to show you how terrible Edgar's checks are.
Which, by the way, remember? He noped out of World of Ruin Narsh. He noped out of it.
No, I don't think he noped out of it. I think he got his 2 Espers, but he only had 6 when he went up there.
Oh, he didn't do, no, what he did is he went up there without Amaro.
Yes, that's correct. Meanwhile, JS getting the bad news, question mark, that it is Mog, right? And Falconet seeing character number 12 on the ground. Decides he's not going there.
Not picking up a 12th character today. We're not going to have that many characters.
Nope. We are not doing that.
Falcon Hit.
Look at his levels. He's at level 42, so he could actually go unlock Bum Rush with his Gao, going to sit through the Master Duncan cutscene, but I think he's looking for an Esper out of the auction house here.
Roomy.
Second dragon here for Saberwolf in the Phoenix Cave, and it is the dragon that's weak to lightning, so Bolt 3 spells will do a lot of damage there. Bill Swift.
We have 3 bosses fading on the screen at once.
Very nice. That's how I like my bosses, fading away. See what Javinator gets out of the tentacle engine room, and it is Bismarck. So
and he has go mode for Javinator, by the way.
Yeah, so he's our first runner with Kefka unlock, and he has the skip. So he'll be going right into Kefka's tower, I assume, after surfacing the castle once again. JS grabbing his skip with getting Mog from the Doma Siege check. And he is going to be vastly disappointed at the end of Mount Zozo.
Why is it always characters in this scene? It's like every single one has... Did they even unlock... They didn't grab the oil, did they?
Should have. Oh, no. It's just a cat hood at Phoenix Cave.
I do this sometimes. Sometimes I do forget to grab.
You're absolutely right.
Sometimes
he
you
forgot
forget.
He forgot his WD-40. There it is.
The Rustrid. He forgot.
All right, new information here for Falcon Hit. The Phantom Train is his last Esper for Go mode. So he just has to go to the end and complete the Phantom Train. Life 3 on that Esper. That's pretty nice for us to have as well. I don't know if we got Fenrir or Golem.
I have to say, I make that mistake all the time.
Well, you know, if you're used to playing SIDS, not SIDS, if you're used to playing Seeds with Y NPC set to either X Zone Vanish or Remove, you could actually just, you know, break the door down like a SWAT team. But in this particular case, we have to go buy the Rust Rid.
1,000. That expensive.
Yeah, so Falcon Hit does actually have Carbuncle, so he has the Esper from the Caboose, but you have to go through the Phantom Train check in order to leave with it. Because remember, no escape.
No escape.
Oh, Javinator buying up some flame shields in the armor shop from Tizen. So remember we were talking about Merton strats? It looks like he is going to have his entire party being healed every single time he casts Merton. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing, you know, to have that stuff. Ooh, and Lock has the Lock and Realm have economizers.
Yeah, so that basically means that all of the spells will cost 1 MP, as opposed to the 75% to 125% of vanilla. That is Ultros League standard. And Javinator to the statues at 103.40. So in spite of all of the characters that we have accrued and acquired this seed, getting into Kefka's Tower at the skip at 103, basically 104, is actually a pretty decent time for Ultros League, I must say.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually.
JS is going to pick up Setzer here. So again, you know, when looking for Espers, Setzer is one of those characters you're never unhappy to see, even if you have your 9 characters, because like I mentioned, his checks are pretty fast, and you can either peek them or they're Esper item only, which is nice. That is the 3rd dragon down for Saberwolf, and it's Risopus and the Piranhas for Javinator here. So he's fighting my favorite punk band of Final Fantasy VI. That's our first boss of KT for him.
Yeah, this isn't really too hard. I find this specific boss might be too hard in basically every single situation. Rhizopass doesn't have a lot of health, and the piranhas go down very fast.
Yep. Falcon Hit entering into Kefka's Tower, not far behind Javinator here, 105 and change. So about, I would say, probably a minute and a half difference between these two runners. So it comes down to, you know, who's got the better setups and execution. As
not taking Go-Go in there.
Yeah, so any characters that you leave on the airship won't actually be able to come into the final battle with you.
It's like, I don't care about you, Go-Go, just go away.
Yep. Alright, so JS making the play to search the skies, and he will find his 9th Esper for Go mode here. So we got a pretty decent race going.
We are done with the first boss on Javinator's side. So that's good.
Yep, Falcon Hit showing us a different boss here, Flame Eater. And we do have some ice spells, so this should not be a problem. On the opposite end of the spectrum, actually no, it's not, because Ifrit is also weak to ice. Ifrit getting encased in ice here for JS, and that is going to be his go mode. Saberwolf hopping down into the Yeti cave, and he will be getting his 9th Esper, so he just has to have one more for his particular go mode. So we'll see where he decides to go.
I like the strategy. Using the Ice Rod and then mimicking it with Go-Go. I like that strategy.
Yeah, because you could mimic things that are not actually in your inventory, right? So even if you use that Ice Rod, you could still use the mimic on it, and it will come through, even if you don't actually have the physical Ice Rod anymore.
Yeah. Where does he keep all those things, anyway? I have questions where he gets it.
Well, I did not play Final Fantasy V, but I've heard that Go-Go is also in Final Fantasy V, and he just conjures up stuff. So maybe that's that. Maybe that's what they do. I don't know. Go-Go is a mystery.
He's actually the Go-Go from Final Fantasy V. I believe Go-Go was first introduced in Final Fantasy V.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I just saw I've just seen that basically Final Fantasy V there. Oh no.
Life? What are you gonna do with life?
Oh, silly Celeste. Come on now.
What are you gonna do with life?
Alright, so this is razor thin right here, the margin for our runners on the top hand side of the screen. Javinator and Falconet both have 2 bosses defeated of their final 4 in Kefka.
Yeah, meanwhile, we are seeing JS go into Kefka's tower.
Yeah, so he's at 108 and change, so he's about 3.5 minutes behind Falconet, and about 5 behind Javinator, so still pretty close. Deciding to leave Yeti on the airship where he belongs.
I mean...
Saberwolf finding out the bad news that Terra is the reward at Esper Mountain.
No one likes Terra, apparently.
Well, the problem is when we've already gotten 10 or 11 characters, we don't need Terra. And we don't need Strago either.
I'm just messing with you.
Last boss fight in the gauntlet for both of our runners will be Rexall. Rexall in vanilla will possess one of your characters, and you have to get that character down to critical levels of HP in order for Rexall to appear. That kind of doesn't work with how we like to do Worlds Collide, right? Because if they're in Kefka's tower, he may possess just your only one strong character, and that's just not any fun. So we decided to remove the Zinger command from Rexall. You can toggle that on or off as a switch, by the way, but it is off in all of our racing seeds as we have dueling Rexall fights. Remember, Falconhet still needs to clear out that first boss that Javinator already defeated.
We are throwing an ice shield.
Oh yeah. So Rexall does have very high magical defense, and throwing a shield, what it will do is it will do a maximum damage elemental spell no matter what. So it doesn't matter what the defense is on that character. You see there, even the Thunder Rod, which is just a Bolt 2 spell, dealing almost 5,000 damage.
Yeah, I have a feeling that we're gonna see Rexall back pretty soon.
Yep, so Saberwolf here is going to pick up his Go Mode Esper after dealing with some Hot Wings.
Javinator, for now, is in the lead. 'Cause I don't think Falcon has done the left side yet. I don't think Falcon has done the left side yet.
Yeah, that's correct. So Javinator has all of his bosses down. Falconhet still has one more to go, and he's only got one party member up. But again, that was Gao, the one that he's been using all seed. The unfortunate thing is that Gao has Blitz, which is not targetable damage, and in this boss there are multiple targets, so you want to just hit the main part of the boss.
Javinator stepping on the switches at around 111.
All right, so the final Kefka fight, the party composition goes, whoever is in slot 4 will go first on tiers 2, 3, and 4. So generally we want to save that for somebody that can deal either instant death or deal mute to magic or deal with tier 3 somehow, right? So we'll see how he sets up his party composition. Meanwhile, Falcon Hit has got one more party to go in order to step on the switches, so he will be just slightly behind. And then just slightly behind him, we do see JS827-1986, who just cleared out the middle path. So they have 2 bosses to go. Falconet has just one. Javinator has just the final battle to do it. And let's see what happens here as Saberwolf enters go mode. Pretty close. He's going to be in the statue skip, so he'll be right on the heels of JS as well.
We're just gonna spam Martin here. There's nothing else we want to do.
Well, we do want to be careful, because if we kill if we kill everything at the same time, we can get Quake and up to 3 instances of Shockwave as a death counter. So Javinator's got to be a little bit careful here. He wants to make sure that he doesn't kill everything all at the same time. Now, with Merton, the head is weak to fire and the long arm is weak to wind, so that's why when you're seeing the damage numbers come up, it's doing more damage to the head and the long arm than that balled up fist because of elemental weaknesses. But if you kill everything at the same time, then we're going to run into some problems here.
Doesn't the arm in the front have a little less HP than the rest of them?
Yeah, the balled up, the long arm you mean, or the balled up fist?
No, the balled up fist.
I don't actually know how much HP each of the parts have. That's a good question. Something somebody in the chat maybe can look up while we're taking down the final fight. So, about 2 and maybe 20 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds rather, behind Javinator is Falcon Hit. As Javinator heads up to tier 2, Falcon Hit steps on the switches for final Kefka.
Yep. And JS has the unfortunate thing of dealing with Rexol. We are seeing an Upper Dragon for Saberwolf here.
Yeah, maybe not comfortable with their levels, because when you do go get the skip, right, you do increase the levels that the enemies in Kefka's Tower are, and you're fighting the enemies in Kefka's Tower with not your full party. So you want to make sure that you have enough levels, because right now all of our runners have maxed out the scaling at level 40, because it's characters plus espers plus dragons times 2. So everybody at least is at level 40.
I've always wondered how does the scaling start out?
So we start with 3 characters, right? So 3 times 2 is level 6. So all of our enemies are level 6. And then depending upon how many free checks you take. So in this seed, we saw a bunch of our runners take at least 2 free checks. So that means that enemies will be level 10 when you're still on level 3. So that's one of the things about opening a Worlds Collide seed, is you don't want to scale too quickly, too fast. Oh, Gao going down to the Shockwave there on Falconet's screen. Turdsman in the chat, the real MVP. 27k for short arm, 33k for long arm. So you are right, Goku. The balled up fist has slightly less health.
Yay for math and knowledge.
There's only a little bit of math. It looks like Saberwolf was getting up to level 42, so he can go have Gao learn Bum Rush here.
Which, honestly, for Kefka's Tower and the final boss, is not a bad idea.
Yeah, so this means Gao can essentially solo most bosses on his own for Saberwolf. Bum Rush is an extremely powerful ability. The only problem is if he sends Gao up the path that has Rexol on it, right? Because you can't target where Bum Rush is going to go. But even though this is like a 45-second cutscene, I still feel it's worth it almost every time. It will definitely save you that much time throughout Kefka's Tower, and it's a lot better, safety-wise. Javinator just burning down tier 2 here. Heading up to tier 3 as Falcon heads up to tier 2. So still very close at the top of the screen.
But the thing is, Girl has every elemental defense that is in the game. So you have to do non-elemental damage, and Merton is elemental. It's actually 2 elementals. So we have to get rid of Girl first before we can use Merton strats.
Yep, that is a great point, Goku. We'll see what Javinator decides here. It looks like he's going to try and steal the Ragnarok. He does have some non-elemental stuff. He's got Grand Train, and he can throw some shurikens at the problem, but definitely is not going to be as fast as the other 2 tiers that we've seen him do. So that'll give Falconhead a chance to catch up a little bit here. Unfortunately, he's having some bad RNG with X-Zone. I saw it miss a couple of times on tier 1. It is definitely missing at least once. There's a second time on tier 2. And here's why you want to kill Girl first, is because Girl will actually heal both parts of the boss there. And now we got to start damaging Girl down again. As Saberwolf is entering Kefka's tower. So with stopping for that cutscene there, he's about 8 or 9 minutes behind JS here. So still everybody within sort of reaching distance of one another.
Big Girl's dead now.
Yep. Unfortunately, Frozen is Celeste's favorite musical there on Falconhead's screen. Thankfully blocked the Doom Tusk with the Illumina. And now, as you mentioned, it's Merton time.
I don't think anyone has any comms protection. I don't think so.
Yeah, so I know Falconhead picked up an Esper with Life 3 on it. I'm looking at...
hold on 1 second here. I think I just saw something really... Shadow Edges! There we go! Shadow Edges, very good. That's a good strat. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, so that will mean that at least Celeste has some calmness protection, but I don't think he's got either Life 3 or Golem or Fenrir access for the rest of his team. So hopefully, or he's hoping anyway, that that Shadow Edge will help protect his Celeste. 10 hits coming out from Falconhead's side now, and here comes the train counter followed by the Meteor. So we'll see what Javinator decides to do to punch through the damage here. It looks like they're going to use Realm to just Merton everything down.
Well, yeah, they do have Quick.
Yeah, so Quick will allow him to take 2 turns at once, and it doesn't allow counterattacks in between the turns. So this is very nice, as JS is stepping up to the final fight here. Saberwolf taking down Rosopas and the Piranhas.
Interesting, they're burning a shield.
Yeah, so burning a shield will do 10,000 damage, and that's what you need to intercept Calmness.
Oh, but they did take off the shield off of Locke.
Yeah, so that is why they did that. I would argue that Locke was the least important of his characters there. I think he was only doing about 3,000 damage with Merton. So if Javinator was going to lose any of his characters, Locke, I think, would have been the one that he would have offered up, right?
Yeah, yeah, that definitely was a good call, taking off the Flame Shield. I'm impressed.
Yeah, especially because you're thinking to yourself, well, you know, I need to Merton for the rest of the battle, so... It's definitely a risk to take off the Flame Shield, but that was a rewarded risk there, because now he actually could have used it for offensive capabilities. I think Celeste is actually wearing a Minerva too, so she doesn't technically need the Flame Shield, right? She just had it for healing purposes, and yikes, the W Wind taken out 3 of Falconhead's 4 characters there down to critical HP. So he decides to... get them back up. He does have access to Life 3, so he will be able to survive at least 1 calmness on his characters.
We are seeing Flame Shields getting burned here.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bring them with you to the credits scene, right? You might as well use them. That's one of the things that Worlds Collide will teach you. Anything you don't use is a waste.
Yep.
We do have a Mega Elixir in most of our cases from defeating Magimaster, although I don't think Javinator does because he never went back to kill Magimaster, so we'll see what he decides to do here to heal after Fallen 1.
They got Cure 2, that's not too bad. Oh, we got Cure 3 on him.
Okay.
That's not bad either. Yeah.
Calmness coming out for Falcon Hit does take out Edgar first, but then is back with Life 3, and he's up to the final boss as well. So Falcon Hit has the potential to overtake Javinator if he's really quick with these attacks here. This is exciting.
Yeah, we are neck and neck here. This is amazing.
Yeah, because Javinator had to take a lot more time to recover his party, and he has one less character that will be able to deal big damage, because remember, Cyan, the scrub off the bench, had to substitute in for his lock. Meanwhile, JS is taking on the last part of Tier 1 with the Balled Up Fist. Saberwolf has got 2 more bosses to go in KT. I believe this is the final boss of the middle path, but then he still has the right path to go. So, Goner charge up here for Kefka. It will go off. So now after Goner Goku, he's got to be careful because he does not want to proc any counterattacks like Hyperdrive or Havoc Wing or even worse, Ultima. So we'll see how Javinator decides to take it here. Meanwhile, Falcon Hit on the other side is pouring out the damage here. And he's got all 4 of his characters, and he also has a Mega Elixir from defeating Magimaster just in case. And it looks like the Goner comes out. Gao tanks that Hyperdrive. That just shows you how much HP his characters had and what levels his characters had.
And
that's a big damage there. Here comes Grand Train. Here comes regular Train over on Javinator's screen. This is neck and neck here. Boom! Crack! The POW! Falcon Hit! Sniping it from Javinator! Oh my goodness! GG's for Falcon Hit. I bet you this Bolt 3 is going to kill Kefka for Javinator as well. Yes, it does. Wow, incredible finish there.
yeah, so now we just have to pull them in, and
Your official times for Falcon Hit, 1:23:58, 1:24:01 for Javinator. So a
3 seconds.
A 3-second difference there.
Wow.
And I can't type apparently. Sorry about that. A photo finish between our 2 competitors there on the top half of the screen. Meanwhile, JS going into tier number 2 as we welcome in our two first and second place winners here, both Falcon Hit and Javinator joining us in the booth. GG's on your race. That was a super duper close one there.
3 seconds. How'd you feel about the seed?
I think the time was great. Because of how the seed played out, I saw all 14 characters.
Thank you for showing us all of the characters. We certainly appreciate that. We did punch you in on stream after we had some technical difficulties with some of our other runners, and lo and behold, you had 8 characters in 1 Esper. So that sort of sums up the very beginning of the seed. So tell us, Falcon, what you thought about, I guess, the seed in general, and when you get that many characters in a row, what are you thinking about?
It's kind of a disaster because in my mind, Espers are what you really want because they're what make you stronger.
Mhm.
So when you just keep getting character after character, you're not scaling as much as you should be, which can like backfire really massively. You saw I like went to, or my first fight was Doma Siege,
Mhm.
and I got 7 characters, 1 Esper, and I was like, oh, this is like a dangerous situation because I didn't expect a character at Doma Siege. I wanted to get to like 7 and then do a fight, but getting to 8 is like extremely dangerous because you saw. I don't know if you saw, but I got diffusered on my first round
Mhm.
by the random encounter, and I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna happen when you're at like 16
You're
or
right. Yep.
enemy level 16.
Yep.
So it's just like, oh, I just have to hope I don't get the fight, right? Otherwise, I'm just gonna die every time.
Yeah, so we joined you after you had done both Doma Siege and the Veld. So you were in the Serpent Trench, struggling through some of those encounters there.
Oh, those encounters are so strong. Mostly because they had high magic defense,
Mhm.
and all of my damage was in Celeste's throw, right?
Yeah, right. So on the flip side, Javinator, you kind of had a pretty balanced affair. I believe you were 5-5 and even 6-6 at one point, and then you ran into the character parade that Falcon Hit had found for us earlier on in the seed. So how does your strategy sort of change when you get to your 6th character?
Well, I kind of set myself up with my seed to kind of do the long checks early, and a lot of the stuff with the guaranteed progression kind of early. I actually wanted to go all the way through M-Tech, to be honest, but that Magimaster basically said no. So,
Yep.
and I had nothing defensive at that point, so I knew I couldn't. I had the offense to probably win that fight in a few rounds, but defensively, I knew I wasn't gonna live past the few turns there. But you know, I really did want to push through and finish that check, which is too bad I didn't, because then I probably could have finished the seed much faster.
Oh, for sure.
But
yep. It was 2 Espers with the remaining
Yeah.
2 Magitech checks.
But yeah, so I took all those out of the way intentionally early, and so when I was 6-6, you were right, and then I had a lot of really fast checks that I could do after that, and a lot of fast and a lot of peekable checks, right? So I went and saw Umaro, didn't get that. I went and saw Gao. I did get that. I'm not talking, this isn't the order I did them in, right? But then I saw Tara, I didn't get her, so I was able to like not have to do a bunch of those checks to see the characters that I didn't want. I went and got Gogo, I think, at one point. So
Right.
And so yeah, so like I was definitely getting worried when I wasn't finding the Espers and I was kind of running out of checks to check. It's not like I was chasing Skip though. So usually if I'm in a situation where I'm like 8 and 8 or something like that, and then I go 8 and I'm like kind of looking for that 9th character, then I'm starting to panic. In this situation, I wasn't panicking too much because I kind of knew everybody else was like looking at the checks where these characters were. Like, unless somebody found a completely different path through the seed, which was possible, you know, I kind of figured everybody would be running into this. And from like looking at the stream right now, everybody seems to have gotten Skip. So,
Correct.
you know, I didn't feel this particular seed didn't feel too bad. And yeah, like I said, I felt like I had a lot of peekable stuff, a lot of fairly quick stuff left at that point, so it wasn't too hard of a decision to make. Going anywhere to check stuff, really.
Yeah.
Why does your microphone sound like you're in a fighter jet?
I have no idea. It's probably picking up the wrong mic on Discord or something like that.
It probably is. I definitely cranked it way down for you, but anyway.
Pretty good.
I don't know if you want to go fix that, as we'll turn our attention back over to Falcon Hit here. So for you, you were using Gao, I think, throughout the seed. Did you want to go get Bum Rush, or did you just think to yourself, well, I'm already ahead of where all of the scaling is going to be inside of KT. I don't want to waste 45 seconds to go get it.
I just want... how do I say this? I just wanted a character that was solid in the mid game, because I felt that my late game was very secure with Throw Celeste and Grand Train Edgar. So what I was missing was like something to carry me through the mid game, because like Throw is a physical, or I think Throw is a physical move.
Right.
Celeste is doing okay damage, but like I needed something else. So I was like, oh, I can have Gao with Blitz, so I can use like Fire Dance, and then eventually Airblade. And then he also had health, so I didn't have to like, if I was in a serious situation, I could just use health. I found cure spells, but like, it gave me peace of mind. And then eventually he just became like, he casted Fire 3 a bit, and then he just like, but like the real star of the show was Flex. And then the Illuminas I found at World of Ruin Jador. Or Illumina, that Locke eventually equipped.
Yeah,
But,
so that was part of, you know, the routing forced you, didn't really force you, but you went there to the auction house area in order to see if you can grab, you know, your final Esper out of that, so.
oh, I was looking everywhere for Espers. My goodness. Were they all in Floating Continent?
Yeah, Floating Continent was 3 for 3. Cyan's
Oh.
Dream was Realm and an Esper and a Dead check. And then you ended up going through the Magitech Factory, right? Because you were able to get past Magimaster. So Magitech Factory was 2 Espers. So definitely very heavy on the 3-part checks. Javinator also went down into the Edgar loop, which nobody else did in spite of having Edgar to start with in the beginning of the game, right? So that is where he picked up his Go Mode Esper. We don't know what was down in Ancient Castle, but given that we saw every single character this seed, I'm guessing there's probably an Esper down there as well.
I had to go through Phantom Crane because that was the only peekable check I had.
Yep. And then pivoting back to Javinator.
Can you hear me now? Is my still a fighter jet or?
Yeah, it's the same way.
Alright, sorry. My mic sucks. There's
No,
nothing
it's
I can
fine.
do about it, unfortunately.
At least it's not like 400% gain. It's only 200% gain now. Anyway, yeah. So you ended up going down to the not the ancient castle, but the Figaro engine room for your Go mode, and then talk to us a little bit about that final Kefka fight. It started to get dicey towards the end there without having life 3. Falcon Hit had life 3. You did not. You did use the Shadow Edge on one of your characters to prevent them from calmness, but Locke, unfortunately, did not survive. Good heads-up play in taking the Flame Shield off of him, at least, but I think that's where the snipe of Falcon Hit came in. You actually were on Tier 4 first, as we get a Sketch Ultima. Awesome.
Oh!
Yo, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Only 2,500 damage, though, because it's Shadow. Anyway, so back to the question there. You know, how are you feeling going into the final Kefka fight with being down one person and having to do all of that recovery without some really good cure spells?
Well, I did have really good cure spells. I still had Cure 3 on Realm with Quick, which I used a few times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I probably should have, like getting eked out by 3 seconds makes you consider some stuff, right? So I probably should have been using like Pearl Wind with Edgar as opposed to the Cure 3s, or maybe like using an X potion or something on him, and then you know, healing in a different way there, and getting more offense out of Realm because she was doing more damage faster.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something I could have done a little bit faster. I wasn't in too poor spirits. Like, it's always scary going in when you don't have any calmness protection. So only getting calmness once and losing Locke wasn't the worst. If I had lost Realm, I would have been a lot more sad.
Right.
And I knew I wouldn't lose Celis because she was protected.
Yeah.
Edgar I was also kind of meh on. I kind of made a mistake in how I used my economizers.
Mhm.
I actually kind of didn't realize Edgar's magic power was actually higher than Locke's.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edgar was doing more damage than Locke, and Celis was... I didn't put an economizer on her because she had throw.
Right.
But her... Merton would have been doing more than anybody's, so I really should have made sure she had quick and the economizer as well, and then I could have gone through that a lot faster.
Yeah.
But the real kicker is that I wasn't counting HP, and I cast quick, and then I cast Bolt 3, and that was at least 3 seconds right there. So
Yep.
that was the one.
Yep.
As I cast quick and I'm casting Bolt and I see the time commit, I just laughed. I'm like, oh man, I gotta start counting HP better.
Yeah, and that's the other unfortunate part about not having access to the Merton strats, right? Using your flame shields to get past the Medio phase. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Goku.
I will roast you, Falconhead, on you did not suplex the train.
Yep.
And you had the ability to.
Oh no. Well,
no.
I gracefully accept the win. Thank you.
Well, Saberwolf actually won tonight's race. He was the only one that suplexed the train.
That's fair. That's fair.
Anyway, so yeah, Falconet, any other final thoughts or things about the run that you want to discuss?
Simple things that can save a lot of time, like not having your ice rod on Edgar, which would have been great versus what's his face, Rexall.
Rexall.
It would have saved me like 2 minutes, like easily.
All right.
I saw that ice rod on Edgar, and I was like, I wish I had that 2 minutes back.
And Saberwolf coming from behind, sniping Kefka there at the last minute over JS. 137-14. Get your GGs for Saberwolf. Really nice end of the run there from Saberwolf. So we'll get to that in just a second. Anyway, continue on, Falconet. Ice Rod, Rexall.
That's about it. I have deep regrets.
Come on, no regrets. Anyway. So yeah, Javinator was able to get through that fight a lot quicker by breaking a shield and by breaking a rod, right? To do.
I also mimicked the shield because I had Go-Go in that party.
Yeah, so you did a ton of damage there to get past that fight super duper early. So any other final thoughts from you, Jav, for this race?
No, that was an interesting one. It was a little bit scrappy in the offense and a little bit unfortunate with the checks. So I'm with Falcon to come in at like a mid 120, a low 120 is not too bad in a seed like this. So, these are the kinds of seeds where kind of digging a little bit deep and understanding like your routing and your logic and maybe some of the subtler points of offense can really make the difference. So it's actually kind of a good seed to have on stream in my opinion to kind of pick through and see the pros and cons. But yeah, it was a fun one. And yeah, thanks for the restream and the comms as always. Super appreciate it.
Yeah, so can't have the races without the runners. So thank you both to Falcon Hit and Javinator for volunteering to be on restream. Although, for Falcon Hit, I had to punch you in late. So I guess thanks for being voluntold that you were being streaming. But anyway, Goku, you got any other questions for these two before we let them out of here?
I'm just, overall thoughts on the Ultros League Season 4 for your matches. How do you feel?
Yeah, both of you will be in the now heavily expanded Mega Elixir division, where there are 12 participants total, and 6 of them will be demoted at the end of the season. So half of you guys will be going down. So Falcon, and I guess I'll turn it to you first with your thoughts on that.
I'm excited because I think they're all very good. Everybody in Mega is a very good runner, and I feel like somebody every week is gonna find like the god route, and I'm excited. I'm excited for this upcoming season.
I'm excited for the week where everyone is a sub 120. So there's someone sitting in like 11th place with like a 118 shaking their head about how bad the run was. I'm excited for that week to happen.
I mean, it's kind of a good point.
Really though, with the scoring, it's very interesting, right? So there's 12 people in that division, or 11 people in that division, I think, this season. The scoring still only gives more than 1 point to fifth, like first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, which means coming sixth is the same thing as coming 11th. So to make any kind of headway this season, you're really gonna have to have multiple good seeds. So yeah, it's really going to be interesting to see how the scores play out for sure. So I'm also pretty excited. I love Ultros League. I love running the standard flag set. The wacky seeds are fun too, but I love running the standard flag set. But yeah, excited.
All right, thank you to both of you again, and we'll see you during the season.
Cheers. Thanks, guys. Thanks all.
Thank you.
GG's other runners. Bye-bye.
GG's.
All right, so now we are joined by both Saberwolf and from JS827-1986. How's it going to both of you here.
Oh, it's going pretty good.
Characters, gotta catch 'em all.
I know, right?
Every time, every gosh darn time I do a restream as a runner, I gotta catch at least 9 characters. At least.
To be fair, Falcon Hit saw every single character in the entire game.
Okay.
So don't feel bad.
Well, I still feel bad. I still feel tenderness minute after him. But you know what? He is the reigning, defending, pure champion of our community. So, GG to them, by the way.
Yeah. How did you? I did see you go for Bum Rush, Saber. How were you feeling on that?
Well, I checked my level right before going to KT. I was like level 41, and I'm like one level off. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for the guaranteed victory. Just get the bum rush on Gao and just plow through there. Of course, the lane I put him in was the wrong lane in Rexall, but I mean, I just wanted to get that guaranteed Kefka win, and 137.14 is actually pretty amazing for me in my world. So I'm actually sub 140 is awesome for me. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the time.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I was not expecting to see Bum Rush being learned right before Kefka's Tower.
Well, I was kind of planning on it a little bit because I went to Mount Zozo, then I went to Phoenix Cave because I wanted to loop in those dragons to get as much XP as possible, and I was literally just one level off from getting that perfect dragon run to the 42 and the blitz, but I ended up having to do the extra Opera House dragon to get the blitz that I wanted, but that's okay. I mean, took a little extra time.
Yeah, you sniped JS. Just had a little bit of extra trouble on Final Kefka. What were your thoughts on the seed, both of you?
I thought the seed was actually pretty good. Kefka just did me wrong.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. Losing Ed in the very beginning hurt, and then losing Celis on tier 3, that's one of the reasons why I went ahead and tried to steal that rag, because I was worried I was going to lose her, and if I lost her, I knew I was going to be done. So if I didn't have that rag, I would not have finished.
All my characters had over 3,000 HP. I see Celeste had 4,000 HP, and I had Cure 3 and everything. The only thing I didn't have was Calmness Protection, but it didn't matter because Tier 3 Kefka did nothing. I don't even think he even made a move. I killed Girl and I killed Sleep without even making one action. So I was like, okay, never mind. So
what did I do wrong then? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You teased the octopus. That's what happened.
Yeah, that was a thing. We also saw, and Javinator showed us the entire reason to be fearful of Evil 2, as he got Evil 2'd and the character he was trying to use X-Zone with got confused.
Oh, I forgot to ask him about that.
Oh, wow.
I forgot to ask him about that.
He lost half his party with that.
Did anybody else suplex train?
No.
So you are the actual winner of tonight's race, Saberwolf. Forget Falcon and Javinator. You suplex the train.
Where was Train? Yep. I didn't even run into Train.
Oh,
Train was in Dream.
There were so many different routes you could have taken on this one. This is it's so crazy. Like how I was running in the very beginning, I was like, this is great. I hope no one else took this route. And then at the end, I was like, okay, this is a problem.
I don't think anybody took anybody's routes the same. I honestly don't think. I mean...
No. It was... the seed was very wide open. And you know what the craziest thing was? At the very end of the seed, Javinator was looking for his 9th Esper, and he went down into the Figaro engine room, which that was a check we've had since the beginning of the game, right? And he had an Esper down there. So that was pretty crazy. So JS, circling back to your route, you sort of struck a pretty decent balance. I think at one point you were either at 6 and 6 or 5 and 5 with your espers and characters, right? So you sort of didn't run into the same problem that Saberwolf had, where he got 9 characters before he got his 4th esper. So
Yeah,
do you like more of a balance like that, or do you want to find one or the other, first?
I really don't know, to be honest, because it's usually like as soon as I start getting those characters, like if I hit 6 characters pretty quick, I'm thinking the problem is I start getting in my head, okay, I'm looking for Skip now. And then all of a sudden I have 9 espers and 6 characters, and I'm like, okay, I'm not looking for Skip. So I try not to worry about whether I have a balance or not, or what I've got. I just kind of try to stick on the general route that I would normally go, and that way I'm not like, oh, this is what I'm going for. And that's been one of my problems in the past, is whenever I get stuck on okay, I'm going for Skip, and I'm like, okay, that next one's got to be that next character, and it's gonna open everything up, and then it ends up being a dead check. So I've kind of I kind of don't look at it, to be honest.
Sometimes it's just the lure of like, what's an easy check to do? Like like for instance, I did Search the Veld. It was Go-Go. Now I was already at 6 characters. I'm like, the heck with this, punch him in the face, move on. And then I went to Dream, and as soon as I saw Realm, I texted you, Schwanza, going, Skip.
Yep.
I was like, I'm going Skip. I texted him immediately. I was going to go Skip as soon as I saw Realm. So I mean, at that point, I was at what, like 8 characters, 2 espers, I think it was. And I was like, yep.
it was yeah. You ended up, I think, 9-3 at some point, and then the
goodness.
floating continent play was the way to go in this particular seed with
It's
3 espers.
3 espers. 3 espers in the flick on it.
Yeah,
And
so
it was relatively easy battles through there too.
Right. I think JS, as you were finishing, Saberwolf was entering, right? And especially, I think you had access to Bolt 3 pretty early on, so
Yes.
a lot of those bosses were pretty straightforward on the floating continent anyway.
Yeah, I had Bolt 3 early on. I had the Blitz with Gao, and I also had the Grand Train on Edgar. So I really had pretty darn good offense early on. And actually all the characters had pretty decent offense. Like overall, like Realm was in there with jump and like 56 magic power base.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could have gone with anybody.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what happened with my Celis, because I had that strength esper +2 on her forever, and she was still only dealing like 3,600 on the shurikens at the end. I was like,
Really?
what happened? Yeah, it was really weird. Like, I kept it on her for a long time until like the very end, so that Gal, I wanted Gal to learn something off there just in case, and
Right.
I pushed it at the end. But I mean, just never. I don't know. It was really weird. It was just like she said, "No, I'm not doing this today."
I think the other thing that helped me was that all the espers I got early game had 100% health. So like all my characters had like 1,000 HP, like by the end of the early game.
Right. Yeah.
Like they were all chunky.
Chonk.
So I really didn't have to worry about they're chonk. So I didn't really have much of a worry, because even when I took like, I think it was like a hyperdrive to the face, I still had like 1,000 HP left over. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to not die, is to have a lot of HP, right?
Oh, I gotta ask, what happened to Fluff? You said he died 4 times. What happened?
Yeah, we didn't see Infinite Fluff, because by the time... So, this was a pretty crazy start of the stream. My OBS crashed about 4 minutes in, and then Drinks Glue's power went out, and then Nobody Wars power also must have cut out or something, because his stream disconnected. So I went through about like 6 different runners in the race in the first like 30 minutes. So I didn't actually get to see what happened to Infinite Fluff, but you could definitely rack up way too much progression and wipe, which is what sort of happened to Falconhead. Is he was at 8 characters and 1 Esper before going into the Serpent Trench for his like first set of checks, right? So he some of the encounters in there were a bit crazy. So I could understand how that could certainly happen, given all the stuff that we did see. But But yeah, so JS, a little bit of a struggle there in Final Kefka with losing a couple characters on a couple of tiers. You did end up sketching Kefka for Ultima. Unfortunately, it was on Shadow, who he got at the very beginning of the seed, so he was only doing like 2,500 damage, but that was definitely a cool thing to see at least.
That was still pretty impressive. 2,500 from a level 4 character. You know, I mean, he wasn't very high at all. I guess he would have picked up a few characters on the stat, or a few levels on the stat.
He only had 400 HP, so he must have been level like 8 or 9.
Yeah. Hey, it helped, I guess.
Where were you on Kefka when I jumped in and started Kefka?
Probably tier 2 or tier 3.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, the problem was you lost Edgar on either tier 1 or tier 2, and then you lost Celeste on tier 3, right? So that was your two bigger damage dealers with Gao, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tier 1, it was kind of a dumb move on my part. I had Ed jump, and he was dealing close to about 4 grand per jump, and he landed and finished short arm. He landed, short arm countered, killed him, and then I had block queued up with Bolt 3, and that took it out. So I didn't have a chance to bring him back, and I had Life 2. So I mean, Life 2, Osmos. I mean, I was set up to bring him back, but I jumped the gun with throwing that. I should have thought about it, because I knew short arm had to have been low on health. So, but you know, you make those mistakes whenever you get hasty and you're just trying to get done, and then yeah, that was kind of rough.
Goku, you had any other questions for Saberwolf or JS?
No, just thank you for running tonight. We can't have a broadcast without the runners, after all.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this, oops, all characters seed.
We're definitely throwing this in the Discord, though.
Did anybody find Strago, Mog, or Sabin?
Oh yeah, we found everybody.
Oh, we found everybody.
Strago-
Dang.
Strago was holding up the building.
Yep.
Then,
Okay, so that's after Sabin.
Yeah. Where was Sabin? Oh God. We have a spreadsheet, so let's rattle this off.
Oh,
here.
Cat, you got your workout, I hope.
Yep. So Serpent Trench.
First day back.
Serpent Trench was So shout out to Ceiling Cat, the real MVP, having to track runners as I'm punching them in and out of stream. So yeah,
Oh, no.
Gogo was Velt, Sabin was Serpent Trench, Mog was Doma Siege, Terra was Esper Mountain, Shadow was South Figaro Prisoner, Cyan was Figaro Throne. Let's see, who else? Umaro was at Velt Cave, Setzer was at Mount Zozo, Strago was holding up the Collapsing House, and that's all your characters.
And in the Umaro Tree Talk, were both Espers.
Yeah, which both of you guys got at some point. I think, JS, you ended up with 8 when you were done, and I think same with you, Saberwolf, because you went diving into Phoenix Cave, and JS, you went to a few places that had characters before going to the South Figaro Cave, right, for your last Esper?
No, where did I get my last Esper? I don't remember.
I know mine was the Phoenix Cave, but like I said, I was doing some risky dives, doing checks that I know had dragons in it to try to boost those levels to get the Bum Rush.
Yep.
Oh, last Esper was Doomgaze.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, I love that how I said nope on Setzer, then immediately I have Search the Skies without him. That was great.
It always works that way. It always. I was really hoping, you know, with all those easy, like, quick checks at the end, that I'd come up with at least an Esper that had colonist mitigation, but didn't. So, and that proved that I really needed that, obviously. But yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get some final thoughts in from our runners. JS, final thoughts before entering this season of Ultros League. You are in Potion C, I believe? No.
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty excited because I don't know. I just really like Ultros League. There's times whenever I've got to get away from the standard flag set and just do some other stuff. But in reality, whenever it comes down to it, this is like the go-to whenever I'm like, okay, I really want to play something, and this is what I go to. I go to Ultros League and I just play this flag set. And because you can always, it's so hard. Like with the draft, it was so hard to try to improve because it's constantly changing.
Yeah.
Like game plan for it. So you've got to be quick on your feet with that stuff. But
yeah. It's hard
Ultros
to track
League,
improvement. Absolutely correct.
But with Ultros League, you can like really track your improvement. Just like me, I took a hiatus for a while where I wasn't playing this for a good solid 6 months, and whenever I came back, I was lucky. Like trying to knock the rust off, I was lucky getting up like a 145. Now it's rare if I get over 140. For the most part, I'm hitting 130 and high 128, 129. My PB right now is like 126. But being able to track your progress and see that is so awesome. And then stacking those times up to other people and then actually being able to watch them and see what they're doing, because you're like, okay, so this is still going to be the same general idea. And you can watch those seeds and you're like, oh, I've never thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're exact same seed, which is really nice.
Yep, I totally agree. So good luck this season in Ultros League, and hopefully we will see you next time. Saber Wolf, you are also still in Potion.
Yeah, I finished dead last in Potion every season, but somehow I still remain in Potion, I guess. But that's a good. But I mean, the reason for that though is because you all out there joining our community and everything, expanding the season, expanding the league. Because we got to create more and more and more room for you. Because for the first time, Mega Elixir has, what is it, like
12?
Was it 12 people in it?
Yes.
Which is insane, and it just comes back to the community just growing like each year or each season rather. And one thing I do say, like I'm in Potion D, and I want to say I'm really happy with it actually, because I'm actually with a group of people who I'm always chatting with on stream and everything. Medes, Turdsman, Verts. I think actually, I think Glue's actually in it. I'm confused which one, if Tonics or Potion, which one he's in, because he's kind of split right now.
Yeah, so
because he's in he's in Potion in the
Tonic
Discord,
D.
but he's Tonic in the site, so I'm not sure which one he's in.
Yeah,
but,
so that's Tonic D, right? So our newer runners, you'll be shuffled into the Tonic division, and then hopefully you'll be able to progress up to Potion. There's JS here in Potion C. There's you, Saber Wolf, there in Potion D.
Yep, and I will say I like the group I'm in. Metis, Turdsman, Verts, and Hymanen. I hung up with all of them. They're pretty close to my skill levels, so I think I'm pretty excited. This is the first time I'm excited this season because I'm actually around all the people that have the same skill I do. So I'm actually looking forward to the season. I put in a lot of hours this past week. I've gotten my times down consistently under 140 for the first time ever this past week. So thanks to being home a lot right now. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the season right now. And it's the standard. So this is how everybody, measures themselves to everybody else, in our community. So look forward to it.
And I gotta throw one thing in. I'm so glad Auction House only has one Esper.
Yeah, so it certainly removes one dead check from the pool of, the other checks that we normally go to. I was an Auction House apologist for a very long time because I think that having money should be a resource that you just don't spend at shops if you want to buy progression. I think that that's a good balance and a game-conscious decision, but at the same time, Auction House is just not fun, right? And ultimately, we play this game to have fun. at the end of the day. And sitting through cutscenes, to me, is not my idea of having fun. So I certainly understand where the change comes from, for sure.
And I'll completely agree. Like, I was the same way. I was an apologist for Auction House too, because I normally had really good checks on it until one time I'm running on my own, offline and off stream, and I had 6 imps in a row.
Yikes.
And I was like, nope, I'm done. I don't like Auction House anymore, and I pretty much cut Auction House out of my runs from then on.
Yep.
Unless your name is Zelfer.
Yeah. Burn me once,
What?
shame on you.
Zelfer, yeah, the Zelfer luck, right?
Yeah, I had really good. I honestly believe I had Zelfer luck. I can't tell you.
Yes, you did.
I can't tell you how many times I could go in and get 2 espers right in a row, and that's why I loved Auction House, and now I hate it for that one time because I was gonna have I think I would have had a sub 85 on it, and that killed me.
I mean, I get 2 espers pretty easily, so I guess I am in that too.
Yep. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good, right? So anyway, thank you, Saberwolf and JS, for volunteering for Restream. Can't have the races without you guys. I know that Goku had already said that before, but I do want to echo that sentiment as well. So thank you guys so much for racing, and good luck this season in your respective divisions. And we'll definitely be catching you back soon on the next time.
All right, thanks to you guys too for all the work that you put in.
I mean, we just talk. Our commentators just talk.
Hey,
Yep.
that's well, okay. I got nothing else. You said it, not me. So
Yeah.
there you go. Well, you guys have a good night.
All right,
Yeah, you
sounds
too.
good.
Thank you, and you're welcome.
All right, Goku, you got any other final thoughts about the seed other than we are definitely putting this in the seed sharing for everybody else's edification and benefit?
I will say that if you want to join the Discord, do races, learn how to play the game, whatever, we have a Discord, and everyone is more than happy to answer all your questions that you may have.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And more importantly, it's not too late to sign up for Ultros League, ultrasleague.com, as you see on the splash screen on here. Even though it technically has started, you do have a week to complete your races. So it's one particular run every week. So it's not a very big commitment, but it also allows us to, get our races in where we can get in, which is nice. So there are still time to sign up. If you're new, you'll get placed into the tonic division. If not, then you'll get placed where you were from the last season. And sort of as Saberwolf was talking about, it's geared to have people around your particular skill level, so this way you don't feel overwhelmed going into other races with people that you may think are much better than you, or because we did have both Javinator and Falcon Hit from Mega Elixir in this race. They finished within 3 seconds of one another. And then you saw the Potion crew. They were about 10 minutes or so behind, and they finished within, you guys finished within what, like a minute of one another? So it's much better when you're not getting, this great discrepancy in your races. You feel like, you're always in the mix no matter what happens, sort of thing, So, but yes, I want to thank Goku for joining me here in the commentary booth. Thank you so much for helping me do comms. Really appreciate it. But big, huge thanks to our tracker, Ceiling Cat, for putting up with stream crashes and runners coming and going as they please during the stream. Filling out the spreadsheet like the true boss that she is. I don't think we've got anything else other than just a couple more plugs for you all. On this upcoming Wednesday, we are going to have a crowd control race over on one of the speed gaming networks to raise some money for a tournament prize pool that will be occurring during SG Live later on this summer. So that'll be really fun. I will be a part of that race. Basically, it's you get to pick what the runners do sort of deal, right? And that, to me, seems really, really interesting to have, you know, runners just doing things based on the whim of the audience, if you will. So be on the lookout for that. That's this upcoming Wednesday. And then about a week from today, is it a week from today? No, it's on Sunday. So 1 week and 1 day from today, One Free Fits is going to be doing a showcase for the FFR Rando Marathon, where there are several incentives, including performing in an opera, saving or killing Sid as a bid war, and another bid war between the two starting characters. So I know we asked Saberwolf's opinion of this on the last stream. I'll ask your opinion, Goku. Are we killing Sid or are we saving Sid? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, we obviously are killing Sid because it's faster.
It can be faster. So one of the things we did patch with the new version of Worlds Collide 1.3.0 is you can no longer just start the event and fly away. You actually have to feed Sid the bad fish, right? So it depends on what types of fish you find in the pond.
True.
So.
But we are okay, so the original game, even without the whole thing, most of the time, unless you got a huge setup for it, you're not going to be saving Sid. He's just going to die.
Yeah. I mean, I find that I do save Sid often enough because the fast fish, by their very nature, are going to swim over to the shore faster, so it's easier to pick them up. But at the same time, right, his health is ticking down every second, so it is much easier to kill him because you're working against the HP that you're doing it in that way, right? So.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anyways, boys and girls and Moogles of all ages in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us on this Saturday night. We're going to throw a raid over to one of our other runners that is doing one of our other runs now. We'll see if I could scroll up and find somebody who is currently live. So it looks like GB Matt is streaming. He is in, I think, Elixir A this season, so we're going to go show him some love. It looks like he is doing some practice runs as well. So if you enjoyed what you saw with this particular race and you want to dig in more, stick around and you can go hang out with Matt, who is one of our community members. So go tell him we said hello. Goku, again, thanks for doing comms with me. Ceiling Cat for doing tracking, and I think that's it, right?
Yeah, it's like the first time in a while I've done it, so figured I'd go back in the booth.
Really appreciate it, and we will catch you all on the next time. Bye-bye now.
Take care.